Hey everyone, welcome back to SummoNerds. I'm Evan,
And I'm Matt.
and today we're going for a Torgan and Endrich game. I'm playing Torgan. I like Torgan pretty well, and I think that when compared to Grognak, occasionally he gets a little bit of a bad rap because he is not as obvious in his strengths. But I think he's more fun to play for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually like playing as Torgan. For whatever reason, I don't really enjoy playing against him that much. But I don't know why that is. I haven't really figured it out. But when I'm playing him, I find a lot of fun use for all his events.
Yeah, he has some good events. I like his ability, like his special ability to be able to create not vine walls, ice walls. We were just talking about a different game. Ice walls next to him in the event phase. That's like a cool idea that he can create an infinite number, effectively, of ice walls, as long as he has the magic for it.
Right.
So that's fun, and I think that his units that he introduced to the game were all really fun. I like his champs and I like his commons. Crushers are one of the more interesting Tundra Orc units, I think. Not necessarily always the most useful, but
right,
but exciting for sure.
Yeah, exciting for both players when a Crusher is involved.
It's very true. And now that the Alliances stuff has come out and we have Ragnar, the idea of a Crusher and Ragnar has always tantalized all of us ever since that possibility was introduced. That combination is really fun to get the Crusher that extra likelihood of landing three or four hits.
You mean Raldag?
Raldag. I'm sorry. Now, yeah, Ragnar has been around for a while, and he wouldn't help a Crusher at all. But having Raldag around is a great thing for those Crushers. So yeah, I mean, spoilers. I did build him into my deck. I've been trying to get that combo to work for a long time. I think there was a game where we did get to do that once, right? That's been a thing with us.
Oh, with
Raldag and a Crusher. Not on the SummoNerds. Not since we've been doing that. There's 4 glory in my first hand. That's what you want.
No, actually, I don't think a Crusher has ever been utilized with Raldag. Raldag's been used on Marauder before to help that process on Shaman, but not a Crusher. There was a game where Immortal Ilion possessed one with a cultist and got 4 precise die with it. That was kind of a cool Crusher thing.
Oh yeah.
But to my recollection, there's no Crusher has ever been implemented with Raldag. It's been frustrating because that's so cool sounding.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to do it for a while. I thought there was a game where that happened, and it wasn't an important moment for it to happen. It was like he attacked like a wall or something, or and then got killed, and then it wasn't a big deal. But maybe I'm wrong. In any case, we really wanted to see that become a vital part of the game, where he attacks some champion, or maybe even Endrich himself in this game.
Right.
With the Crusher and Raldag. That would be really fun. But yeah, I think Torgan's a fun one, so I wanted to give him a shot again. And then Matt picked Endrich, which is one of my favorite Alliances summoners. He's just fascinating.
Endrich is really interesting. He's very unlike the other Alliance summoners, which seem to favor more aggression typically. Endrich seems to be a more defensive summoner who can, of course, also be used offensively. He seems to have his events have varying play styles. He just seems I don't know what the word I describe. Very versatile as a summoner.
Yeah,
I guess.
He has a lot of really open-ended events that can be used either defensively or offensively. Like teleport is one of my favorite events of his, because the first time we ever used Endrich was we had a tournament with the Alliances. When we first got it, we had a tournament with the Alliances decks, Joe, Matt, and I. And we all picked a couple of them, and then we did a single round elimination to see which deck would make it to the end. Joe's the Warden actually was the one that did it, but on our first playthrough. But I was Endrich, and I eliminated Joe's Hogar, by teleporting forward for a surprise, slightly unlikely dice roll for an instant win on Joe, and it was really exciting that you can use teleport in this incredibly offensive manner to get some extra dice deep in enemy territory with Endrich, or you can use it to get him out of danger.
Yep.
Or you can use it to get a common in where Endrich was. You can move a common around kind of like you can with sneaks, but before your movement phase,
Yep.
which is exciting.
And the other thing about teleport is if Endrich is in no immediate danger, then there's no reason to hold on to it either. So it never feels like it's actually clogging up your hand to have a teleport.
I build teleports like it's my job.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Deceiver there for Matt. That's the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah, I don't know what in Endrich's deck, Deceivers seem way more powerful than in Tekulu's. Obviously, they have the same ability, but I think it's because Endrich's units have a lot more health and can put out a lot more dice, which means Deceivers are a lot more frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, they're really hard to deal with in Endrich's deck, and I've used them before. I actually have a really fun Endrich deck I used on Joe once. We'll make a deck build on that deck sometime because it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But Deceivers are great. I mean, it's actually almost the deck Matt has. It's almost exactly the deck Matt has currently. But the Deceivers are really fun because you can use them in conjunction with the Gorgons that Endrich can conjure, and they can also be used. You can have Loon or Kynder. Push or call enemy commons next to a Deceiver. If your opponent's waiting for that Deceiver play, you can force them into a position where their commons are stuck on your Deceivers. It's really interesting. He just has a lot of ways of letting the Deceivers. I think it is that combination of the Benders and the Deep Dwarves really gives you a lot of ways to use the Deceivers in ways that they couldn't in Tekulu's deck.
And like you were talking about with the Gorgons, which are an amazing conjuration, probably the best in the game.
I'd say so.
Obviously, you have to pay for them, whereas the other ones you don't. But with three health and no weaknesses to common specific events, and that they can be combined with Deceivers, Loon, Kynder to just immediately kill commons, makes them a very strong unit.
Yeah, Matt went ahead and tried to show his hand there briefly because it was after his turn and he was forgetting to do that. There's my giant event-packed hand.
And an ice golem.
Yeah, and that ice golem. And I've got that 4 glory right in the very beginning of the game when it clogs your hand horribly because it is actually such a good event.
Mm-hmm.
I hate dropping that event. I mean, you can, obviously, but it's almost never worth it.
Yeah, 4 glory is pretty much a must for Torgan. Say it's like the daring plan of his deck.
It is. It really is. It's actually similar.
Yeah.
In its function. Yeah, so I've got this ice golem. I'm going to try to hit this Deceiver. If I can break that Deceiver, then I've got a nice position for next turn, potentially.
Mm-hmm. But if you miss, the Deceiver now has another frame that's frozen.
Exactly. Here we're going to see how it goes. I'm a little scared. That's why I'm taking my time rolling this.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And so that actually really breaks my momentum.
Yes.
Because see, even if that had hit, if he'd had another Deceiver in his hand for the next turn, he could play it and move it to where his current Deceiver is. But it would still force him to play another Deceiver and put it there.
Right.
So I would still be dictating his move a little bit. So I don't. And it was a little unfortunate that missed for me, but that's okay. That's the risk I took.
Oh, and the other thing didn't mention before, I played an unlock on that Deep Dragon and that wounded Gem Priestess. The one that currently has a wound on it, so she has 4 life. It's just important to realize that she's boosted.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see the boost marker on our screen anyway where we're watching, so it might be on yours as well. The boost marker is a similar color to the card underneath. But yeah, it's also important to know that because I couldn't have killed the Gem Priestess if I had attacked with the Ice Golem, or not that I would have made that decision, but it's just good to understand these things.
Yeah, and I moved that Deep Dragon by that Berserker a while ago. I was just gonna kill it, but I realized if I kill it, then that Crusher can just whack at my Deep Dragon, and the Crusher's mentality is it's just gonna kill it or it's gonna die itself. So there's really no reason to even think about like a 4 to hit 3 in that scenario. You just roll. Because it's either going to die or it's going to live at full health. So
yeah, exactly.
I didn't want the Crusher to...
It's not as if the Deceiver would freeze it, and it didn't kill it. It either kills the Deep Dragon and then gets frozen by the Deceiver, or it dies and you get a magic either way. Yeah. So it would have been advantageous for me to just throw that Crusher to the wolves. Yeah. If he'd given me the opening, but he didn't. He left my Berserker alive. So here he is playing another Deceiver, and he reclaimed for the magic for those two boosted units, and then unlocked again to get them back to their full potential. Yep. Which is a nice little combo he can do for 4 magic.
Yeah, so that was just a lot of magic, and with no difference on the battlefield. I just had a huge made a huge magic profit there.
And it does mean that he's used his unlocks. Right. So he's done with that. However, having that easy 4 magic is a big deal. So it was probably worth it using 2 events to get 4 magic out of nowhere. So yeah, he had that extra Deceiver to put up next to my Berserker. Again, if I'd hit the Ice Golem on that other Deceiver, he would have had to choose to try to lock down my Berserker and Ice Golem on the close side of the board, or to try to put the Berserker or the Deceiver where he did by my other Berserker and Torgan. But as it is, he was able to do both, lock down all of my commons effectively, except for that Crusher, which is useless, and then whack Torgan and use use Endrich's ability.
More health.
Yeah, use Endrich's ability to beat on Torgan a little bit with the Gem Priestess, which got both of its hits.
That's why I wanted to make clear that it was boosted before, and obviously any other boosted unit would have been ideal attacking Torgan, but that's what I had to use Endrich's ability on. And I was able to get the 2 wounds on him with those 2 attacks, so it was worth it in the end to spend that magic.
Yeah, and where I am right now, my summon point's blocked off because of my Berserker. Torgan cannot kill the Gem Priestess in 1 attack. If I leave Torgan there and I kill the Deceiver, he's going to move up Endrich and the Gem Priestess and have 5 to hit 4, or he could, which with very little chance of retaliation from Torgan, because Torgan can't actually get a good attack on Endrich out of that positioning, or he could summon a Deep Dragon and have the same odds to kill Torgan, or he could, there's just too many options. Matt's checking his phone.
I'm just scrolling up and down those. I'm not even doing anything important.
I think his phone was getting blown up at this point by some massive text thread, and he was telling me about it. I think that's what was happening. It's all of those female viewers.
Yeah, wow. They just... there's no privacy.
I haven't stopped teasing Matt about that line from that previous... I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but he said something about, "I'm back, female viewers, don't worry." And I've just been teasing about it mercilessly. So we've been laughing about it mutually, is a better way of putting it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know what to do with my Crusher. I'm just trying to get it. If I move it, the reason I didn't move it 2 spaces over next to my other wall there is because I was afraid he would just summon another Deceiver or a Deep Dragon and kill it, or anything really. I didn't want to lose my Crusher because it's the only thing that has the possibility of moving soon. So I was hoping that to keep it as a defensive unit if the time came. If he summons another unit, maybe I could plug that hole between my walls and run Torgan away. I don't know. I didn't want to get rid of it so easily. I didn't want to let him have that magic.
Right.
Because it was the only card I had to play. My 4 Glory is effectively completely useless right now. Because I can't attack with any of my
commons. None of those units can attack. Except that Crusher. You can attack with that Crusher.
I know. I've attacked twice with that Crusher. And yeah. Nope. This is not looking good for me. But that's okay. I'm not out of the game yet. It's just a poor position early on. The problem is that Endrich can do so much with this position. He's got his whole half of the board pretty safe. He's got a wall, Deep Dragon, Geopath, Deep Dragon, and the Owl Griffon, which is a really fun champion.
Yeah. The Owl Griffon lets him switch from... if I had 7, I could easily switch from this offensive to a defensive position.
Yep.
No time.
Force me to come at him, get a bunch of magic in the meantime, slow me down with all the Deceivers.
Yep.
Be a nightmare to try to get through that, but possible.
So even though I've done 2 wounds to Torgan, and I'm in this position, 2 wounds on Torgan means I have the same health now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the easiest thing with Endrich is to just get a little crazy. So I'm trying to avoid getting a little crazy here and moving him up to get like 4 gloried instantly for death.
That is the one risk associated with running up against Torgan is that big play with 4 glory, or Torgan's champ pool is so good. Mm-hmm. He has so many good champions. I don't have enough magic for champion right now, but that's another risk. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. That deep dragon. That's why I moved my Crusher where I did, because he just boosted the deep dragon. Yep. Crusher's still out of range. And now, if he moves that deep dragon in that direction, trying to catch Torgan from the other side, he risks my Crusher being able to just kill it instantly. Yeah, that was why I moved where I did with the Crusher, was so that he couldn't get the position on Torgan to pin him in that back corner. There we go. Matt's trying to rethink his move here to make sure this was the best move.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to move up Endrich and he's worried about it.
Yeah. Because it is so easy for Endrich to just be one-shotted by really any deck.
Yeah, just a very standard maneuver can kill Endrich very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So he's sure now that I can't do something too tricky. We actually had an interesting thing come up in this one. The Ice Golem, if it is given ice armor, can become an ice wall, and then you can glacial shift the Ice Golem, right? And move it around for up to 5 movement on 1 turn. But because the Deceiver is stunning it, it is still a unit, and so you cannot glacial shift it if it had an ice. And that one doesn't have ice armor under it. That's why I didn't put ice armor under it, actually, because I was thinking about glacial shifting it away from the Deceiver, but we were pretty sure that wouldn't work in the rules. And I asked on the forum, and Killer Cactus agrees that that's because it is still a unit. It is still stunned and can't move, even if it's being moved as a wall, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that really could only come up in a Torgan deck against either Endrich or Takulu.
Yep.
So it's kind of an odd scenario. So here Matt goes attacking me. He's gonna attack Torgan there.
Yeah, that was my 3 attacks, and so yeah, good rolls on Torgan. not my unit. Good rolls on Torgan with the Gem Priestess so far.
Yep, 4 for 4 with the Gem Priestess, which is fine because I'm still not out of the game. I've got that wall. I can summon a unit, move it in the way of the Gem Priestess, move Torgan back, I have a lot of options here. Yeah, I have a shooter, Glacial Surge for glory, Glacial Shift, and Ice Armor. So, what I'm going to do here is probably my high point of the game. This particular play I was proud of. If I think this is the correct turn for this, I'm going to make use of that mishmash of events in my hand, and try to catch Endrich off guard. Because, like we said, Endrich can be killed by rather standard moves and positions, and so my goal was to try to put him in a position for next turn. Here's my shooter. Try to put him in a position for next turn where he regrets pushing up as much as he did. Mm-hmm. Here I'm playing my Surge, getting 2 ice walls for free. I put it in my magic pile. I'll figure that out in a second. There we go. And I'm shifting them. And I'm going to shoot that through my own unit, which is fine if it takes a wound. And it does here, so that's fine. And then I'm rolling for the Deceiver. And I was hoping it would kill the Deceiver. It didn't. That's also okay. The point is, I've got this ice wall up there now, next to him, and I've locked down Torgan, so Torgan can't be killed. As long as he kills the Gem Priestess here, Torgan can't be killed this turn, because you'd have to go through the Berserker or the ice walls. If he moves the Deceiver out of the way, it frees up my Berserker. Either way, he's got to lock down those ice walls, and there's another real wall next to that of the Deep Dragon. I'm just putting a lot of pressure on him, And if he kills the forward ice wall, the one closest to him, then he's opening up a position from the other ice wall closest to Torgan, where I can summon an attack. So, yeah, I've got him in a position where it's going to be very hard to lock down all the possible angles of attack. That was the goal. I've halted his advance.
Yeah.
Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah. So now, because I was being fairly aggressive and dominating, was expecting to win in the next turn, but now that these ice walls are in the way, it's actually a bit of a problem because, like we were talking about, I can be killed so fast. So actually now I have to worry about getting out of there.
I managed to kill the Deceiver also with the shooter in the foreground of our game, which is important because now that Ice Golem is I can move him around. I can also summon from that wall again in either of those two summoning points. And it's really important to remember that I have 4 glory. There's his teleport, which is useful in this scenario, potentially a Deep Dragon, Geopath, Deep Dragon, Griffon.
Mm-hmm.
I have that 4 glory, and a shooter with 4 glory can kill Endrich.
Yep.
A single shooter. So if he leaves a single summoning point open, it's very possible for me to just win. A single crusher without 4 glory can kill Endrich. He has to make sure to get as many summoning points locked off as he can and kill as many of my units as he can this turn so that I don't have any chances at killing Endrich. It is actually a tall order. It would be really hard to completely block off Endrich at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially again with 4 glory, which can create holes in his units. If you were just to put a bunch of commons around Endrich, perhaps on either side of him, it's very possible that I could kill the commons and shoot through the spaces they occupied with 4 glory. That's a possibility. So he's really checking through what he's got and making sure he makes this the best decision he can.
Yeah, I'm debating, not really debating. I'm just trying to think if there's a way I don't have to worry about getting Endrich out of there, and that I can win this turn.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to do with my moves, but
yeah, what I was really hoping for right here was that he didn't have teleport, because I knew that could get him out maybe. Mm-hmm. But if he didn't have it, then I was putting him in a pretty rough position.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty sure there wasn't a way for him to kill me because of the way my walls are positioned. He could do it with a Geopath if he was able to kill the ice wall. A boosted Geopath could shoot through the ice wall and hit Torgan. If he was able to kill the ice wall somehow, he could do a
that's what I was trying to picture, but I don't have enough movements to get.
Yeah, because he'd have to move Endrich, the Deceiver, and then move the Deep Dragon in next to the wall, and he'd have to somehow move the Geopath into position to shoot Torgan 4 units instead of, because he's got all of his units bunched up together in each other's way.
Yeah.
So, which was another thing I was counting on. I was counting on him being too locked up in his position to have enough movements to get out of it easily. And because I've got walls just everywhere, and all spaced away from each other so that they're not conflicting or blocking each other off. So yeah, he teleports. Just trying to teleport there.
I'm thinking about this one. Obviously, Endrich has more ways to be attacked this way, so I'm rethinking it.
And then if you moved him there,
yeah,
and move that, there we go. He's frozen my units. Oh, but he's left a big hole in front of him and to his side. So no. He's taking it all back, which is fine. He's not going to teleport him there. He's deciding no. That's a poor decision, and that's fine by me. This is how we play, unless dice are rolled, or if I were to have abolished the teleport or something, obviously then it couldn't be taken back. But anything that I have no control over, and that wasn't random chance, is fair game to take back.
In fact, any time we're playing against Sam's deck, if you use an event, it's kind of just being used.
Yeah, that's true. If you use an event against Sam, you really kind of can't take that back because you've got information on whether or not your opponent was willing to play Abolish. So that's kind of a deal breaker on the taking back events. But movements are still pretty fair game. It's fair to take back movements and things as long as they don't conflict with any sort of dice rolls, like fear, perhaps, if you move next to a Savager or something.
Right.
At that point, it's too late to take anything back. Or off of a vine wall, perhaps. But in any case. So Matt's still stuck in this position, trying to figure out how to get out of it. This was kind of my favorite strategic move of the game because it really was a sticky situation. It felt like one of those chess puzzles.
Yeah.
There's a way out of this maybe, but it's going to take a long time to figure it out. And I was happy to get him in such a defensive position. Here he is again, trying to just straight up move his way out of this one. But unfortunately now he has to move the Deceiver to try to block Endrich, and he can't block every summoning point. And all I need is one.
Yeah.
All I need potentially is one summoning point to instantly win this game. Not high odds, but very possible odds.
Yeah, and I just don't. I felt like I was doing too good to play risky.
Exactly. So. He was winning this game before, so.
Yeah, this is what I do decide on. I teleport over there.
Yeah. He teleports across the map to where he can get away from all of my units' potential move ranges.
Yeah, I saw this initially too. I wasn't committed because now Endrich is out of range of all my boosted units to use his ability.
Yep.
But he is safe, so I decided it was the best play.
I was bummed because it was the only place I could think Endrich could go that he wasn't in range to be killed this next turn, and I was hoping to get the kill on him. There we go. He kills the shooter. I was hoping to get a kill on him just because I was in pretty bad shape, and I was hoping to end the game quickly with a counterattack. But he did have the teleport, and I figured if he took some time on it, this would be the move he'd make. I was hoping he'd make the move quickly and rashly, but he did not. He took his time. So he attacks the Ice Golem. He's got my Crusher stunned, which is a bummer. He's going to cripple that Crusher and make it pretty much useless. Yeah. That one wound makes a huge difference with them. So, oh well, but I did survive the turn, and that is better than I thought I was going to be able to do before that bunch of events got played. I also have been holding a lot of those events for several turns, so my deck has barely been, I've barely moved into my deck. If I can just keep Torgan alive and play this thing for the long game, it's very possible that I could come out of this with just more deck than him. Even with the Owl Griffon, I might be able to swing this thing back around just on the strength of my deck alone. So, just going to try to move Torgan to safety, get that Berserker where it can attack that Deceiver, which is locking up my other two commons. The other problem with this game was that because I managed to survive that turn, and I managed to get myself to some relative safety for now, but my commons are all wounded, and he had a Deceiver until just this turn, and 2 boosted Deep Dragons. Those boosted Deep Dragons are great. He's also got a whole bunch of magic. I'm showing you my hand real fast just so you can see what I had. I had Bragg, Glacial Surge for Glory, and the Ice Armor, and a Shooter. I'm going to drop that Shooter into my magic, I do believe. Shooter, magic. And that's... I'm hoping to get a Ice Wall in the form of an Ice Golem, and with Bragg, make it hard to kill, and then Glacial shift it up to Endrich, and then whack him for a bunch of die. And with Bragg out, it would make the Ice Golems really hard to kill.
Yeah.
And then I could summon things off of it and beat up Endrich a whole bunch, and that was the hope.
Yeah. Of course, the Endrich counter, I have Deceivers and Gorgons that haven't been conjured yet.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm really worried about is those Gorgons. I was hoping that you'd already played 3 Deceivers this game, right? Or just 2?
Just 2, I believe. Okay. But I might have discarded one also.
I was thinking you only had so many Deceivers. Like, I knew you had a few. But the problem with this Endrich is one of the 1 or 2 alliances decks where you really can't take out too many of his commons because his whole theme, all of his events, and his ability revolve around having commons that can be boosted.
Yeah.
And if you take out too many of them, you do actually weaken his deck.
Yeah.
So he went ahead and got a boosted Geopath and a Gorgon to block off that front attacking point on Endrich. Another chance I had was to turn my Ice Golem this upcoming turn. This was an idea I had, into an Ice Wall, move a shooter forward next to my Ice Golem, and shoot at Endrich with 4 glory, generating the extra 2 die I would need to potentially kill him.
Yeah.
That was just the only problem with that plan is that it wasted 4 glory on an attack that probably wouldn't kill Endrich.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a chance at killing Endrich. Unfortunately, where his Gorgon is positioned, he's blocked me off from... I can't do that anymore. Not how I was going to, anyhow. Mm-hmm. And he's about to shoot at my Ice Golem here, I do believe. He's just trying to do the math and make sure this works out the way he thinks it does. And here we go. Putting all of my commons in positions where they can be killed. And are likely to be killed, is actually a better way of putting it.
Still didn't settle on that Deep Dragon spot. I don't know what we're talking about right now. But...
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't move the Deep Dragon that 1 extra spot forward. Not that it...
I don't think I'm done moving yet.
Okay. Not that it was like a bad thing to pull it back, but I don't know why.
No, I'm worried about Endrich's spot.
Oh, right. You wanted the extra movement. Right. It wasn't the Deep Dragon position you were worried about. You wanted to be able to move the Gorgon like this.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Again, not that I really had a great way of getting to you. But it's true. If I'd had an Ice Golem with the Ice Armor and Glacial Shift, I could have run up to hit Endrich. And now I can't because the Gorgon would kill it.
Yep.
So there goes my Ice Golem, and now he's boosting with the Geopath to shoot. Oh, he doesn't kill the Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will not pay for it, I guess. I guess I'm not too worried about it.
But that was your paying for it.
Oh yeah.
Because you killed the Ice Golem with the Geopath.
Yeah, so I missed it.
Yeah, so you just missed it. So I've got Bragg, and I've got this Ice Golem I might use later. My whole plan is just kind of around this idea of maybe I can shoot up that Ice Golem through a bunch of stuff and hit Endrich and surprise him. He probably won't have... He got Deceivers early in his deck. Hopefully I just won't run into any for a while. Also, I'm just going to throw this Crusher out now because there's nothing really more it can do for me. He's got so many good commons. He's got those 3 boosted commons and a Gorgon, and I've got nothing. Yep. And he's got as much magic as I do. Again, I have more deck, but I'm also, my summoner's weaker, and my hand is clogged with things I don't want to waste, like Bragg, who was a big theme of my deck, trying to make strong ice walls in Torgan's deck. I really wanted that to work. I did not get the Crusher all 4. Big surprise. But that idea, that theme in this deck was kind of a big part of it, so I didn't want to waste Bragg. I didn't want to waste the Ice Armor. I didn't want to waste the Shift, I believe was the other one that was in my hand. So I probably should have dumped a couple of those things and let that be okay, but because what I really need now is I need some manpower to stop this assault that's going to happen on Torgan, given the fact that I have nothing. And he has no incentive not to just send in the Deep Dragon.
Exactly.
Shoot at my walls, whack at my walls, whatever he wants. He is definitely in control of the game currently.
Yeah. Deep Dragons, boosted Deep Dragons are an amazing common. Endrich just has access to all these amazing commons as well. I'd definitely say he's one of the decks could be up there with like Jungle Elves or whatever as competing for best commons in the game.
Yep, I would say so too. He's got a very nice common pool and champion pool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well, since you can draw from Loon and Kynder, who are both in this deck.
Yeah. You had Loon, Kynder, and the Owl Griffon. There's not really a hole in that plan. Those are all good choices. I really like Sorgwyn in Endrich's deck. Because then you get that extra attack on top of an Endrich ability attack. You can just get 3 attacks with 1 common. You can generate so many dice from such a small opening. But the Owl Griffon does give you a better economic chance at a defensive game, or just like a long play game.
Just helps pay for Loon and Kynder as well.
Yep. But here we go. Pushing forward with a 3rd Deep Dragon. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm screwed. That's all right. I do have a chance at this. I just need to stop the Deep Dragons, and I need to have a little luck in doing so. And I've been laughing with Matt at how I haven't hit when I had 4 dice to roll. I have not been hitting 3 recently, which is kind of the expected. I think 60% or so, 59 maybe, to hit 3 out of 4. I've just not been doing that recently, and you saw that with my Crusher a second ago. He needed to hit all 4, but he didn't actually even hit 3. He hit 2. It's just been a weird thing on the app with me recently. Whenever I have like a crucial 4 to hit 3, I always roll 2 or less. But the reason I mention that is because the only common in my hand currently is a Crusher, and I need something to plug that hole on that Deep Dragon. So here comes a Crusher. And I could leave the Crusher there for that 2 magic. He could be a 2 magic wall and then die, which is an expensive way to buy a turn. Or, and I'm trying to get Bragg out. This is my goal here. And so I move Torgan there so that I could potentially Glacial Surge and then shift from that position to go through the Deep Dragons. I know he can move a Deep Dragon around the other side of my wall there. That backmost Deep Dragon can move around. And if I Glacial Surge and then shift, it will go... he can't... It'll be... yeah, there we go. I don't get the 3, which is crucial. But the idea was I would have had a good position to hurt him a lot if the Crusher had done its job and hit the 3 out of 4. I did have to risk that, though, because, again, if I hadn't swung the tide of this game with some good counterattacks, I think I was pretty much dead.
Yeah, I mean,
buying a wall for 2 magic is that gives him magic is just too expensive.
Yeah,
it's not a policy I can maintain.
So now I have 2 Deep Dragons to finish this game. Third one's coming around.
Yeah, there was I could have left him there, and I would have definitely lived through the turn. I could have surged and then shifted maybe afterwards, but it just didn't go that way. 2 hits to end the game.
That's game.
Well, oh well. Thanks everybody for watching that one. That was not exactly how I wanted that game to go, but I thought that I did show some decent stuff Torgan can do.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see Torgan reappearing in the next game.
That's true. Yeah, so until next time.
Yeah, until next time.